Um, hey everybody, what's up? It's me, Death the Cyan Wolf. Sorry for not uploading for a while. I was trying to think of another visual novel I could do, and I was trying to think of a better way I could, improve my mic quality. So I think I kind of managed to fix that. So yeah. We're going to get started with this, and if you really love visual novels, like and subscribe right now. It'll really do a lot. And yeah, let's get started, shall we? Okay. Press enter. What is your name? Press enter to use the default name. Chapter 1, Day 1. My hands crush snow. My hands crush snow between the fingers as I slowly crawl my way out of the rubble. My numbness caresses my side as my stomach lays flat on the cold snow. It's so dark that I can't see anything in front of me. I can hear clutter, chaos all around, but it's very faint, like a whisper. I lean my face into my arm and rest for a moment. My nose feels like it might just fall off. Breathing through it hurts. I can hear men shouting, some of them yelling in pain. My mouth tastes like metal. Suddenly, through all of the chaos, I hear a voice. Is that him? Get him out of here. Get him out of there. Get him out of there. Quickly. Lyre soldiers? A pair of arms grab me under my armpits, and the movement makes it harder to hold on to reality. I slowly succumb to the sleep my body has been yearning for. It's in another voice. It's muffled, as if someone's speaking to me through a wall. I can barely understand what they're saying. Alright. Sorry I had to pause for a moment. Oh yeah. Had to get some water and a cough drop. I can barely understand what they're saying. I tried to ask what they were saying, but I'm pulled from the slumber as if a rope would tie me. Consciousness invades my mind and I'm thrown out of my sleep. I roll over on the cool bed sheets, feeling the air around me compress. The eyes open to a thick light pouring above me, hitting the foot of the bed I'm laying in. I hear the distant clatter of metal along with voices. It feels like a cold fall afternoon, and there is a stuffy smell that lingers around me as I see dust particles dancing in the light. My mouth tastes dry. My heart starts to skip rhythmically beat in my chest, picking up pace with every second. I look down at my body and notice I have thick bandages wrapped around my torso. I reach out with my hand just around my stomach and feel a twinge of pain open the lower right side of my gut. My mind is racing with questions. I sit up, and the feeling of the blood rushing to my head makes everything go dark. I shift in the bed and slowly wriggle myself out from underneath the covers. I go to lift myself from the bed and stumble a bit as I steady myself on the cold floor. I look around the decorated room I'm in. It is elegant, with a nicely sized bed and a desk, and a slightly open glass door that leads out onto a balcony where I can see the afternoon light shining down onto the floor. A few bottles and bowls of medicine are strewn about, laying on the cabinets in front of me. I slowly start to walk to the door when I suddenly begin to feel horrible. I crawl to the floor and lay there for a second, waiting for it to pass. As I lay there, feeling my insides twist around and dance in my body, the door opens and I'm met with a creepy figure in a dark green robe, wearing a pointed mask and a hat. They look as if they were about to do something, but stop in the doorway. I feel their gaze fall on me, but from behind the dark goggles. Ah, you're awake. Good! Yes! He stutters this out with much effort and an odd voice. Oh dear. Wait here for a moment, please. I'll be right back with help. He prances and stumbles back through the doorway, leaving it slightly open, his feathery tail floating behind him. All I can do is lay there as I hear him scuttle off, calling someone's name. I start to feel a bit better and the squeamish feeling subsides slowly. Just as the cold floor starts to feel nice, I hear muffled voices from outside the door. One of them I recognize as the bird, and another seems rather gruff and annoyed. Of course the minute I leave for a drink, something happens! How long has he been awake? I don't know. He was just laying there on the floor. Is he okay? Well, not really. He seemed to be in some pain, but that's expected. Or maybe he was just scared of you. What are you getting at? That mask makes you look ridiculous. It's a safety precaution. I hear the footsteps and voices get closer until they're right outside the door. You'd never catch me wearing one of those. A short, cloaked bird shuffles into the room, carrying a bag. Walking behind him is a wolfman of sorts. He closes the door behind him. Wait. Alright. He's very tall and muscular, almost having to bend over to walk through the doorway. Whoopsie. Kind of forgot to read that. He closes the door behind him. His right eye is scarred, and he has a semi-annoyed expression on his face. Contrary to his tail slightly swishing left and right. His clothing is simple yet elegant. Large, white, and bulky, with fur trimming and metal plate armor. A large white cape drapes behind him with a blue interior. I see a symbol on the breastplate, which I could somewhat recognize as the king's family sigil. A pair of antlers stretching high. He is coated with dark brown fur, which is very fluffy around the neck. His eyes trail around the room, landing on me. He then walks forward and begins to speak. Do you need any help? I nod my head. He stands awkwardly for a moment before walking forward, his padded feet thumping against the smooth floor. The wolf then proceeds to kneel down and gently reaches out to pick me up. He pauses before hesitantly touching me, reaching under my legs with his paw, and then reaches with his other arm around my back and grips my shoulder. The wolf lifts me up and adjusts me in his grip so that I don't fall. His neck fur grazes against my face as he carries me over to the bed and lays me down in it, gently reclining me back against one of the large pillows. I mumble out some appreciation. Thank you. He grunts in response. God, life. It's fucking cold in here. At least make him decent and give him a shirt to wear. Wait, no, get a better voice. God, Leif, it's fucking cold in here. At least make him decent and give him a shirt to wear. Clothing would mess with the bandages and fresh air would do him some good. Besides, how are you cold? I'm not, but the floor feels like ice. I'm sure that he's fine. I sit up in bed with some hesitation and open my mouth to speak. Who are you? The two turn and look at me as Lyre makes a motion to speak. The wolf places a paw on his shoulder. My name is Lyre. Lyre Reed. I'm the commander of the Royal Guard. Wait, no. Fuck. My name is Lyre Reed. I'm the commander of the Royal Guard. And this is the royal family's physician, Leif. Sorry, I'm not very good at pronouncing these words because I never played this vision novel before. I'm kinda new. Alright, let's continue. He says this with a certain twinge of proudness, his tail swishing slightly. Yes, I'm sure we can dispense with the formalities for now. Do you remember anything before the crash? I look down at my torso and the two connect. So that's what happened. You remember? You can't remember? He has a curious look on his face and his eyes stare into mine with extreme intensity while Leif scuttles over to the bedside table. Kind of. It's all a bit vague. Here, have some water. Lyre walks over to me carrying a small goblet of water. I accept it cautiously, bringing it to my lips, taking a short drink. Slowly, it all starts to come back to me, as if I just had woken up after a horrible dream. Horrible. I was on my way north to the kingdom of Lyre as an ambassador for the kingdom of Irnin. During a cold and rainy night on the 11th day of travel, as we were nearing the outskirts of the kingdom, I remember minding my own business in a small closed-off cart. Suddenly, there was a loud rumbling noise and shouting. That's all I can remember. I can't remember much of what happened. Just everything before blacking out. On the mountain pass just outside the city, there was an avalanche. It wiped through most of your small entourage and killed some men. When our rangers came upon where it happened, your carts and wagons were almost decimated. You had a piece of splintered wood lodged in your side. Thankfully, it didn't hit anything vital. You seem to have recovered well over the past 4 days. Well, Lyre rants about how the mountain pass is too dangerous to take anymore. I look down at my side and feel the bandages. It's painful, but not enough to bring a wince to my body. I was out for 4 days? Aside from the occasional stirring in your sleep. I quickly try to shake off the thoughts of someone watching me sleep. That would have been pretty scary. Waking up in the middle of the night to have a 6.5-foot tall wolf in the corner of an unfamiliar room. Well, I hope this hasn't cut into anything important. Don't worry, things have been quite slow lately. There hasn't been much being discussed, and we're still waiting for the ambassador from Dries. He falls silent, at first staring out the window behind me before his eyes fall back down. His tail swishes slightly, and after a long, awkward pause, he speaks again. The king has assigned me to be a personal guard. The king has assigned me to be a personal guard. The statement surprises me. I was not expecting the king to assign me a guard. let alone the captain himself. For some reason, on my way here, my imagination led me to think of a king who was rash and dismissive and had no idea for political nonsense. I thought I would be completely on my own. That's usually how it goes. As I'm thinking this, Lyre moves over to the other side of the room and fiddles with something in his little bag. I'm sure that you will do a fine job, sir. I'll make sure to give my thanks to the king. Lyre grimaces a bit in his nose, gives a small twitch. You don't have to refer to me with such titles. Lyle's fine. Wait, no. You don't have to refer to me with such titles. Lyle's fine. I give him a slight nod. This certainly isn't the introduction I had hoped for. One moment I'm sitting in my cart heading around the mountain pass, I'm at my destination where I would be received by the castle staff and possibly even the king himself. Sorry about that. Instead, I wake up in my new chambers, unfortunately, having missed everything important from my arrival. And as kind as these two are, the situation I find myself in is less than preferable. I sigh and shake my head. Well, as long as I haven't missed out on anything important. My thoughts still dwell on the crash. I haven't really had enough time to let it settle in that people just died. That they almost died. It's a shame that avalanche happened, and I'm very thankful that your rangers were able to save my life and many others. Lyre gives a slight smirk of acknowledgement, and I can already tell he's a bit modest, even if his tail is sweeping the ground. It's the job. Lyre struts over to me with a small bowl of some weird mushy substance. It looks familiar, but I haven't had to take that much medicine in my life. Here's something to ease the pain. This is most likely the last time you'll have to take it, considering you've healed very fast already. I stare down at the bowl in discomfort as Lyre drones on about the unique healing process in humans, along with some other stuff I didn't care to focus on. I take a small bowl and drink down the strange mix. It has a thick consistency. The texture is like eating sandy mud. Not that I've ever done that before. The taste, however, is not as bad as I thought it would be. It has a savoury flavour that's very hard to describe. Still not pleasant enough for me to thoroughly enjoy it. If you don't mind, I'd like to take a look at your bandages and also see how your recovery's coming along. I look down at my side and lift the covers a bit. Sure, yes. Lyre walks around to the other side of the bed and begins to awkwardly unwrap the bandages with his gloved hands. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! I just noticed that! Lyre is blushing! Oh my goodness! That is so fucking cute! That is so fucking cute! Oh my goodness! Cute puppy! Cute Wolfie! Oh my goodness! When I catch Lyre watching from across the room, he quickly averts his gaze. He certainly is expressive, though he tries to hide it. Lyre finishes unwrapping the bandages, and I finally get a good look at the wound. It looks a bit messy, a dark red color on the skin, and the scar it's left behind isn't pretty. Ah, it's coming along nicely. He's got to be kidding. He takes a damp sponge and begins to lightly dab it and rub at it. I see the room start to clean up nicely, and after a minute, Lyre rubs some weird cream on it with a sponge and he seems to be done. Lyle is turned around and meekly fidgeting with something on the desk. I'm not surprised to see that you're getting better very fast. You should be able to walk now without the risk of opening up the wound. Just try to take it slow. How can you take things slow when everything's happening so fast? That's good to hear. Thank you. Lyre seems to be happy to hear that his efforts are appreciated, as they can hear his tail slightly flipping up and down. Rhythmically. Oh my goodness, hold up! How do you pronounce rhythmically? Rhythmically. Alright. Thank you, Giggle. I can hear his tail lightly flipping up and down, rhythmically, tapping against the ground for a second. I'm always happy to help. Let me know if you need anything else. And with that, he picks up his bag and makes his way to the door before turning to Lyle. I'll leave the rest to you. He shovels through the doorway, and it closes behind him with a soft thud. The silence settles once Lyre leaves. Lyle is clearly uncomfortable with it, so he speaks up. Lyre usually knows what he's talking about, but are you sure you're okay? He gives me a look of concern for a moment, but then his eyes dart first to the floor, then around the room. The sight of my body feeling sore after being awake for a bit, I feel better. I feel good enough, I guess. He looks at me with a smile and adjusts himself. Well, if you want to get dressed, your clothes and the other things were brought up. He gestures over to the corner of the room where I can see my trunks and belongings. Even though I'm wrapped in bandages around my torso, I still feel underdressed, so I guess putting on some clothes would definitely help. I make a motion to rise, but Lyle shoots me a worried look. Maybe I could get you something to wear. Oh sure, just the outfit from that trunk over there. I point to the trunk on the left, which has the outfit I was going to wear when I met the king. He points to that trunk on the left, which has the outfit I was going to wear when I met the king. He makes his way over to the pile. Of trunks, his cape gliding across the floor behind him, with each careful step. Lyle looks very out of place in his room. Everything looks so small compared to him. He bends down and unlatches the trunk. I see him pause to look at its contents, then proceeded to curiously sift through it. His ears perk up really high when he finds the outfit. No, wait. His ears perk up really high when he finds the outfit. He clumsily stands from his kneeling position and walks over to the side of my bed, carrying the outfit. It's nothing too fancy. I may have some form of noble status, but I don't tend to overplay it. It is, however, the nicest outfit I own that fits the climate. The main parts of it are made from cotton, with bits of silk here and there. There is the basic undershirt with flowery sleeves and a slight ruffle. The trousers are light and tight-fitting with pockets on the side. Tailcoats usually are not my favorite article of clothing to wear. Usually, I'll lean towards robes or jackets. There's some fur, and there is a small scarf that I can wrap around my neck and tuck into the vest. Lyre places the outfit on the bed and takes a step back. Is this the one? Ah. Alright. He says this with a bit of worry, as if he made the wrong decision. Yeah, this is it. I sit up and grab onto the pair of pants. I go to change and realize what's wrong with this. Should I bathe first? Lyre looks at me with a dismissive gaze, then talks. You smell fine to me. I guess someone like him would be the best judge of that. I go to unbutton my trousers, but stop, realizing that he's watching. Do you mind looking the other way? Oh no, he's blushing again! Oh my goodness! This is so freaking cute! Oh, of course! That is so freaking cute! He quickly turns on his heel and stands at the other side of the room, staring out the window. The light eclipsing around his duck fur. Sorry. It's so funny and cute seeing another character blush. But mostly the male characters I like see blushing. I take off my trousers and undergarments, putting on a fresh new pair, then fasten the new slaps. As I secure the last button, I lift my head and speak in his direction. Okay, you're good. Sorry. He turns away from the window quickly, as if he was frustrated with something happening outside. I reach down for the shirt and bring it up over my head. As my arms rise above my head, I feel a sharp pain in my side and wings. Lyre clearly sees this. Maybe I should help. No, really, it's fine. I just need to. I slide my arms through the sleeves and my head pops through the collar. Before I'm even able to finish putting the vest on, Lyre is walking around the other side of the bed, carrying the tailcoat. He lifts it up, motioning to put it on me. He drapes the coat over me slowly, with the collar fitting around my neck. I carefully embrace it and start putting it on. So, you're going to be my god? If you'll have me. He says this with a sullen look on his face. I guess it wouldn't hurt. I really don't mind it. I don't know if I'll need the protection, but it's always nice to be prepared. It's also nice to have a guide of sorts to show me around. Yeah, it is nice. It definitely would help. Almost half of your men were wiped out in that disaster. The king thought that you could use some extra powers. And I can show you the castle and escort you into town. Whoops. I would like that a lot. Although I don't know if I'll have the time for it. That sounds nice. The king also thought you might like to have someone in a high position that you can trust. He says this with a certain proudness in his voice and a slight smile. I decide to humor him. What makes you think I trust you? He stops moving one of the sleeves of my arm for a moment and then starts again, and his mouth twists into an embarrassed smile. Don't worry, I just... Very funny. He grumbles to himself as I fasten the buttons on the front. So, you watched me while I slept? Oh no! Third time! Oh my goodness gracious! This has got to be the cutest wolf I have ever seen. Well, technically, Haruki was the first one I met, was the first cute wolf I ever saw. Well, other than Renok, I guess. Another cute wolf I know. But, seriously, even though Haruki's a bad guy, I still like him. Because I have a feeling he's nice deep down. But anyways, he's taken aback by this statement. I'm your guard. I was stationed outside of your room to keep watch. Believe me, it's not something I wanted to do. It's not like you're in any danger. Why were you up at night? Do you take a bath? Do you take both day and night shift? I don't need sleep all that much. Plus, I feel more awake at night. Oh yeah, I've heard that some races don't need as much sleep. Maybe 3 to 4 hours within a 24-hour period. I guess that's good for someone in his position. Well, it's fine. Again, I was only joking. I do enjoy watching this wolf get flustered. Same here. I really love it. It's cute. You're just full of jokes, aren't you? He shakes his head with a slight laugh, sighing as he looks at the floor. One of his teeth hangs out of his mouth in a goofy way. I take this moment of silence to get down to business. Does the king request my presence? I realized that it was a bit foolish of me to dress for the occasion before even considering that I might not even get a chance to meet the king today. I'm just looking forward to meeting him and discussing certain matters that pertain to my job. I'm not even sure the king knows that you're awake at this moment, but I assume he will find out shortly. Most likely, you'll be able to speak with him during supper tomorrow. That does sound interesting. I definitely wouldn't mind having a nice meal right now. Speaking of supper, I'm very hungry. Don't worry, that's already been taken care of. Wait, don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry, that's already been taken care of. Lyre would have sent for one of the servers to bring you some food by now. Especially since they won't have to feed you with that weird tube. Did they seriously have to do that? I feel sick at the thought. Only twice. Don't worry. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. That little twerp may be a bit weird at times, but he knows his way around medicine, and he has been able to achieve things most wouldn't even imagine to be possible. Lyle has an odd relationship with the bird. It sounds like he respects him, though. From what I've seen, he seems to know his way around his work, and I trust him. He seems pretty jumpy, though. I wanted to imagine he's the best at surgery. Then again, I'm still here. Unless he had help. So, how did you find yourself in your position? No, wait. So, how did you find yourself in your position? Well, that came out of nowhere. I think for a moment about what I should say. I don't want to give away too much about myself. Well, I was granted nobility in the West, and I'm good at what I do. At least I like to think that I am. Sometimes I feel like I was carried through my position. The look in Lyle's face tells me that was a bit too vague. What? That's it? He has an unsatisfied look on his face. But then he shrugs. I'm sure there's more to it. Well, if I'm going to tell you my life story, you'd better tell me yours. And I'll need a drink. Deal. Alright. I need another drink of water. Alright. It's not even the 18th hour by the time the sun dissipates behind the mountains and I'm forced to light a candle. I've taken off most of my outfit, folded it and set it down in the corner for tomorrow. Lyre is reclined in one of the chairs, telling me about when he was a squire, when there is a knock at the door. His ears perk up and he sniffs out the air. I thought I smelled food. Really? Because all I can smell is wine. He stumbles getting up, yet confidently walks over to the door. Though he tries to hide it, he's a bit tipsy. He opens it and greets the server. A cart is pushed in as Lyre steps back. The cart is filled to the brim with all different types of foods. I see a roasted duck, cooked fish, all laid on greens surrounded by vegetables. I recognize these delicates due to them being abundant where I'm from. There's some bread and cheese with a weird sauce in a bowl off to the side. On a side tray, there's a fresh bottle of wine with what looks to be a piece of mint. Thank you. I call out to the server, standing in the doorway. He nods in acknowledgement and leaves. Lyre stands there for a moment before adjusting his cape. Well, enjoy your meal. He makes to leave the room, but I speak up. Oh, you're not going to join me? He pauses for a moment and chants to answer. That's very generous of you, but I'll just go eat in my quarters later. Besides, I already rated you of your wine. And I have stuff that I need to do. And I have stuff that I need to do. I'm sad that I have to see him go, but he also looks a bit conflicted. I don't think I can be alone right now. I need some company after everything that's happened. Oh, come on, I insist. Besides, this is way too much food, even for someone who hasn't had a proper meal in days. He turns away from the door before closing it with a smile on his face. Aww. Well, if it's okay with you, then I guess I can stay. He walks back over to one of the chairs and sits down. I take a bunch of the food and put it on my plate. The fish looks really good, so I grab some of that first. There's a piece of parchment placed in the center of the tray. I pick up the note and read it. Enjoy. Maybe that's the chef? Once I'm done, Lyre begins filling up his plate. He takes quite a lot of it, and most of the duck is gone by the time he's done plating his food. Uh-oh. And I thought that I was taking a lot. He plops into his chair and starts to eat. After a few minutes of somewhat quiet eating, he continues his story. Anyway, I was a squire for Lord Bryn up until the age of 19. Then I was made an anointed knight by the king. Wow, that's a really young age to become a knight. And now you're the captain? Yep. How old are you now? 22. 22? You're captain of the guards and you're only 22? How many times am I going to have to keep count of every time he blushes? How many times do I have to keep track of that? Because honestly, that is very cute. Again, it's very cute seeing him like that. I blurt this out before immediately regretting it. I'm only just about to turn 20, and I'm already being sent far away on diplomatic missions, so I guess I shouldn't be talking. But still, most people aren't even knighted until they're 21. Believe me, I was just as surprised as you are. But a captain usually has a next in line selected in case they die. When Sir Runa died, he had me chosen as his successor. Everyone said that he was grooming me for command, but I didn't really suspect it. The king was pleased with this, though, so I didn't question it. He takes a grape, pops it into his mouth, and chews it with a distant look on his face. Did you not want to be captain? He stops chewing for a moment, then keeps going. It's something that I wanted, but it just happened so fast. Yeah, I understand. It must be stressful being put into a position like that so fast. Well, I'm sure you're doing a good job. I hope so. He takes another drink from his cup. I take another bite from a fish. It's soft and basically melts in my mouth. It's the best food I've had in a long time. Maybe it's because I was so hungry. The fish tastes much different from the fish off the coast of Ernin. Lyre empties his cup and then reaches for the pitcher to pour some more. So, Duff, how old are you? I'm 19. You looked a bit older than 19 to me. I cock an eyebrow at him. Not that's a bad thing. That's a bad thing. Why is it two that's? Ha! Well, the same can be said for you, Scruffy. Wait, I just noticed he blushed. I jokingly drag my finger across my right eye, hinting at his right scar. Heh, I guess so. Wait, that's like 6 times he blushed. Oh my goodness, I am literally on a roll right now. I'm literally on a roll right now. Literally keeping track of how many times he blushed. He reaches up and rubs a paw over his eye and while chuckling. How did you get it? If you don't mind me asking. He contemplates for a moment, then pours small wine. I'll tell you that story someday. You know I need a lot more wine than this. He lifts the bottle and sloshes it around slightly. His speech is a bit slid due to the drunk state he's in. Oh no! He takes a big drink from his cup and lowers it with a satisfied exhale. It must be interesting. That's one way to describe it. He picks up his empty plate and sets it on the tray. I'm finishing a piece of bread when I notice his eyes light up. Can I have this piece of mint? He holds up the little bundle of leaves. Yeah, you can have it. Thank you. Mint is my favorite. Yeah, I need to work out better on my British accent. It's not easy. He pops a piece of it in his mouth and chews on it in pure bliss, his tail wagging. I finish my plate and place it on the tray. I'm feeling really tired now, until I have some food in my stomach. I can tell Lyle senses this. Thanks for letting me eat with you, bud. He gets up from his chair with a grunt and pats his stomach. I should probably be going, and I'm sure that you're going to have a busy day tomorrow. He starts walking towards the door. No need to thank me. You're good company. You're good company. Oh my goodness. He smiles and opens the door. Have a good night, and I'll be guarding the hall for a bit if you need anything. Good night. He kind of stumbles through the door, and it closes with a thud. A take off the rest of my outfits, blow out a candle, and then fall into bed. Today was certainly a strange day. I've only been awake for a couple of hours, but I feel so tired. My side still feels a bit sore, so it should get better with time. Lyre and Lyre seem really nice, especially Lyre. I'm glad that it was there. It was in the care while I was out. I can't help but be excited to meet the king tomorrow. It may sound boring, but I'm actually looking forward to my job. The wine gets to me, so I slowly drift off. Alright, I'm going to stop right there. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya!